The night air was thick with tension as Shen Yue stepped into the softly lit apartment. In her hand rested an object that had once symbolized hope, unity, and promises whispered in private moments, a delicate engagement ring that now carried the weight of broken trust. She did not hesitate. With steady hands and an unwavering gaze, she returned the ring to Miles Wei, shattering the carefully constructed illusion of a shared future. The room seemed to tremble in silence. No words were needed. Every heartbeat echoed the magnitude of the decision she had made. Miles Wei's expression hardened, a storm of disbelief, heartbreak, and fury flickering across his eyes. The man who had once been certain that love would conquer all now faced the undeniable truth that some promises, no matter how carefully crafted, could not withstand integrity. Shen Yue's choice was not a rejection of affection, it was a declaration of self-respect. Every tremor in Miles's chest revealed that he understood this, but his pride clashed violently with his vulnerability. And then came Dylan Wang. He appeared in the doorway as if summoned by fate itself, the intensity of his gaze locking onto Miles Wei like two titans poised for collision. The tension in the room became nearly unbearable. Words were secondary to presence. Every movement, every slight inhale, every shift in weight spoke volumes about years of rivalry, unspoken resentment, and simmering ambition. Fans who had watched from afar could feel the gravity of the moment. This was more than a confrontation. It was a reckoning. Shen Yue, standing between them, was a beacon of clarity amidst chaos. She did not flinch, did not waver. Her decision to return the ring had been made in full awareness of the ripple effect it would cause. Miles Wei's eyes searched hers, seeking answers, explanations, perhaps even forgiveness. She offered none. Instead, she offered resolution, an uncompromising assertion of her own values over the hollow promises that had bound her to a love unsteady from the start. The dialogue between Dylan Wang and Miles Wei was terse, each word calculated and loaded. Dylan demanded accountability, the gravity of his presence amplifying every syllable. Miles defended his past actions, his emotions exposed yet restrained by a lifetime of pride and experience. Their standoff was not merely physical. It was ideological, moral, and deeply personal. Every nuance of their interaction revealed the fractured loyalty, the desperation, and the raw human emotion that had driven this triangle to the brink. Outside the room, whispers and speculation erupted across social media. Clips of the confrontation circulated, each replay dissected for hidden meaning. Fans debated who held moral authority, who had acted with integrity, and who would ultimately emerge victorious in the tangled web of love, ambition, and betrayal. The spectacle was electric, not only because of the celebrity names involved, but because it illuminated the universal struggle between desire, ethics, and emotional survival. As the standoff continued, Shen Yue's calm center became the fulcrum around which chaos pivoted. She had faced rumors, pressure, and relentless scrutiny, yet she remained steadfast. Miles's frustration grew palpable, while Dylan's determination to assert his position intensified with every passing moment. The room, already heavy with history and emotion, seemed to vibrate with the unresolved tension of years spent navigating love, loyalty, and hidden agendas. Then, with a quiet authority that stunned both men, Shen Yue stepped forward, her voice measured but carrying the weight of finality. She reminded them both that love cannot thrive in a landscape of manipulation and ego, that integrity cannot be sacrificed for fleeting dominance or possessive pride, that the consequences of their choices extended far beyond personal heartbreak. They shaped reputations, careers, and the perception of everyone who watched, both near and far. Miles Wei, chest tightening, realized that despite his power, his wealth, and his influence, he could not compel Shen Yue to accept compromise where it did not exist. Dylan Wang, equally invested, understood that confrontation alone would not resolve the deeper emotional fractures laid bare in that room. For a brief moment, the world seemed suspended, time stretching to encompass the full weight of fractured trust, desperate love, and human resilience. As the night wore on, The confrontation reached an uneasy pause. Shen Yue did not depart with triumph or vindication. She left carrying quiet dignity, knowing that her choice had reshaped the triangle irreversibly. Miles Wei remained, absorbing the heartbreak of his loss, while Dylan Wang processed the complex blend of rivalry, loyalty, and unresolved emotion that still defined their interactions. Outside, fans continued to watch, comment, and theorize. Every reaction was magnified by the intensity of the evening's revelations. The engagement ring, now returned, symbolized not the end of love, but the assertion of self above circumstance. It reminded the world that even amidst passion, celebrity, and high-stakes rivalry, integrity can shine brighter than desire, and courage often requires sacrifice. The triangle remained unresolved. Loyalties were tested. Hearts were bruised. And the world waited, collectively holding its breath, for the next chapter in this explosive saga to unfold. The room had barely recovered from the emotional weight of the engagement ring return when Dylan Wang stepped fully into the confrontation. His presence alone shifted the air. Miles Wei, still reeling from the symbolic rejection, squared his shoulders, but the uncertainty in his eyes betrayed the storm inside. Every heartbeat seemed amplified as silence stretched, thick and charged, across the room. Dylan's voice cut through the tension, firm but controlled, demanding answers, clarity, and accountability. He confronted Miles about years of unresolved rivalry, the unspoken rules of love and loyalty, and the consequences of choices made in pride rather than understanding. Each word carried weight, exposing fractures that had long been hidden behind public smiles and media narratives. Shen Yue remained the calm center of the storm, a silent yet undeniable force. She watched as the two men wrestled with their emotions, letting the conversation unfold while maintaining her own integrity. Her choice to return the ring had not been impulsive. It was deliberate, a clear statement that she would not be defined by promises without meaning. In that moment, she became the fulcrum of truth, the one who anchored the chaotic tide of anger, heartbreak, and rivalry. According to insiders, Miles attempted to justify his past actions, speaking of intentions, of loyalty, of misjudged love. Dylan countered with clarity and quiet authority, illustrating that actions, not words, shape reality. Their standoff escalated into a tense negotiation of hearts and egos, each testing the other's limits, while the silent presence of Shen Yue reminded them of the stakes: honesty, trust, and the irrevocable cost of missteps. Fans who had been watching clips of the confrontation immediately noticed the emotional nuance. Social media exploded with speculation. Was Miles truly remorseful? Would Dylan claim victory in this silent battle of integrity? And most importantly, what did Shen Yue's unwavering stance mean for the resolution of this explosive love triangle? The confrontation, though heated, did not spiral into chaos. Instead, it revealed layers of vulnerability in both men. Dylan's intensity was tempered with patience, while Miles's pride wavered under the pressure of facing undeniable truth. Shen Yue's presence acted as a mirror, reflecting not only their feelings for her but the consequences of pride, passion, and unspoken expectations. As the evening progressed, the trio reached a tense understanding. No clear victor emerged, no reconciliation occurred, but a subtle shift in power dynamics had taken place. Shen Yue's decision had reframed the narrative. Love alone could not dictate choices, and integrity had a weight far greater than any ring or promise. Outside, the world continued to watch. Clips, screenshots, and analysis spread across social media, fans and commentators dissecting every glance, every pause, every subtle gesture. What had started as a private confrontation had become a global conversation about loyalty, honesty, and emotional courage in the world of fame. By the time the night ended, the engagement ring sat quietly on a table, a symbol not of loss, but of clarity. Miles Wei, Dylan Wang, and Shen Yue had all faced truths too long ignored. And though the triangle remained unresolved, one undeniable fact lingered. Shen Yue had taken control of her story, and in doing so, She had reshaped the emotional landscape for everyone involved. The saga was far from over. Fans held their breath, waiting for the next revelation, the next move, and the next chapter in a story defined by love, rivalry, and the courage to make impossible choices.